Okay, so Apple's newest Watch Ultra. It's just packed with amazing tech, right? But what if I told you its biggest, most important innovation has nothing to do with the screen, or the battery, or any of the sensors? In fact, it's something you can't even see.
So what are we talking about here? What could possibly be a bigger deal than all that incredible tech you can actually see and touch? Well, the secret isn't in the watch itself, it's in how the watch is made.
Yeah, you heard that right. The most revolutionary feature here is totally invisible. Why? Because it's baked right into the manufacturing process for the watch's titanium case.
All right, to really get why this is such a massive breakthrough, we've got to take a step back. First, we need to understand the old way of making things and the huge problems that come with it, especially when you're working with a material as tough as titanium.
So for more than 100 years, the way we've made high-precision stuff has been what's called subtractive manufacturing. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a sculptor with a block of stone. You start with this big, solid chunk of material, in our case, an expensive brick of titanium, and then you use all these powerful machines to just carve and grind and drill away everything you don't want. You're just subtracting material until only the final part is left.
And this number right here shows you the result of that process. It's just sheer, shocking waste. Get this, when you use that old-school subtractive method to make a titanium watch case, a staggering 90%, that's 90% of that original expensive block of metal, it just gets carved away and turned into scrap. Just gone.
So the big takeaway here? The old way is just incredibly inefficient. I mean, you've got this massive material waste, which of course is also a huge waste of money. It eats up a ton of energy. It's slow, and, maybe the worst part of all, it really limits what you can actually design. There are just some really complex, super optimized shapes that are physically impossible to create when you're just carving from a block.
Okay, so that is the problem Apple decided to tackle. And their solution? It's a fundamentally new way of thinking, an approach that lets them, and I mean this quite literally, print the impossible.
It's officially called additive manufacturing, but you and I, we just call it 3D printing. And if the old way was like a sculptor carving stone, this new way is more like building something with clay. Instead of taking material away, you start with nothing, and you add material, layer by tiny layer, only where you need it. It's the complete opposite.
So how on earth does this work with a metal as strong as titanium? It's honestly incredible. First, it all starts with a perfect digital blueprint. A machine then lays down this super thin layer of fine titanium powder. We're talking thinner than a human hair. Then, a really high-powered laser comes in and precisely melts and fuses that powder together, basically tracing the shape from the blueprint. After that, the machine lays down another layer of powder, and the laser zaps it again, fusing it to the layer below. And it just does this over and over and over, thousands of times, building a solid, complex metal part right out of dust. Wow.
So what's the big Apple advantage here? I mean, why is this shift from carving to printing such a massive game changer?
Well, look at this. The difference is like night and day. You're going from carving away a block to building something up from powder, from insane amounts of waste to almost zero waste. And you're going from designs being limited by your tools to designs being totally liberated by your imagination. Oh, and you're taking a process that can take weeks and shrinking it down to just a few days. It's a total transformation.
I mean, the list of benefits here is just staggering when you lay it all out. You've got a drastically lower carbon footprint. You unlock the ability to create designs that were just impossible before, designs that are both stronger and lighter. You speed up the whole production process from weeks down to days. And like we said, almost zero material gets wasted. This isn't just some small improvement, it's a giant leap forward.
And just take a look at the environmental impact alone. This chart right here, it shows the dramatic drop in the carbon footprint for making the exact same part. By getting rid of all that waste and using way less energy, 3D printing is showing us a much more sustainable way to manufacture things. It's a huge deal.
But okay, this is where the story gets so much bigger, because this was never just about making a watch. The watch, that's just the proof of concept. It's Apple showing the entire world what's now possible.
And this right here is the absolute crucial point. Apple is using its massive scale to prove that this technology is finally ready for the mainstream. The real prize here isn't a slightly better watch case. No, the real prize is showing everyone a new, better future for how we make, well, everything.
It's like one industry expert put it. They said Apple isn't just 3D printing watch cases, they're creating the roadmap for the next industrial revolution. Think about that. They're basically handing a map to every other industry out there, showing them what can now be done at a massive global scale.
So let's just think about the ripple effects of that for a second. Imagine jet engine parts, right? But 3D printed with these unbelievably complex internal structures that make them way lighter and way more fuel efficient. That could save airlines billions of dollars and seriously cut down on emissions.
Or what about this? Imagine medical implants, a hip replacement maybe, or a plate for someone's skull. But instead of being off the shelf, it's perfectly 3D printed from a patient's CT scan, so it's a one-of-a-kind perfect fit. That would lead to way better results and much faster recoveries.
Or think about the cars we drive. Imagine parts that are stronger, lighter, and more complex than anything we can make today. That means safer and more efficient cars for every single one of us. This is the kind of future this technology unlocks.
And all of this brings us to one final, really big question. By pioneering this whole process, Apple has proven to the world that we can now build things at a massive scale using one of the strongest materials on Earth. So, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we can now literally print the impossible with titanium, what in the world are we going to build next?